Hello, hello, everybody. Hello, good evening, good afternoon, a good morning, wherever you are watching this from. I'm about to go live on the Facebook group as well, so bear with me. All right. So today we're going to talk about we're going to be talking about the importance of working with your ancestors for prosperity work. Okay. And so, true to fashion. Okay, sorry guys, I'm trying. I probably should have said all this stuff way before. Okay, oops, I didn't put a live. Hold on, I didn't put a live topic. Okay, I'll put it later. Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. All is one. All is one. Today we're going to be speaking. We're going to be discussing the importance of working with your ancestors in your prosperity work. Okay. So by the end of this live, by the end of this video, you're going to understand why working with your ancestors is one of the most powerful ways to amplify your prosperity work. If you want to add a little bit of oomph to your money, if you want to add a little bit of oomph to your money rituals, if you want to add a little bit of oomph to your prosperity rituals, right? Working with your ancestors is a great way to do so. We're also going to talk about how this can drastically shift your financial reality. I talk about my story all the time. Not too long ago, I was on somebody's couch, right? All right. Pretty much sleeping at my best friend's couch, right? And here I am running a multiple six-figure business. I have a multiple six-figure portfolio, and I teach women how to invest their money, right? And I teach you how to multiply your money. And so I am speaking not only from my expertise, right, as an initiated individual into Ifa and as an initiated individual into Vodou, right? And so I'm adding all of my experience and all of the things that I have gone through to be able to help you. And one of the main things that has helped me transform my entire financial reality has been working with my ancestors. Okay. I'm also going to share 3 specific ways to start integrating your ancestors into your prosperity rituals. All right. So make sure you stick around because I'm going to save the best one for last. All right. The most easiest and the most transformative one, we're going to leave that one for last. So make sure you stick around. All right. So talk to me in the chat. Those of you who are watching live, go ahead and type in live and where are you watching from? And those of you who are watching the replay, go ahead and type in replay, and this will help the algorithm as you all comment in the chat here. Okay. So now, before we get into everything, well, actually, as we get into everything, let's talk about why ancestors matter when it comes to prosperity work, right? You know, often most of the time when we're doing prosperity work, we're thinking of some sort of deity, right? If you're in Haitian Vodou, most people are working with Dambala, or they're working with Azaka, or you're working with Ezili or Ezili Freda, or even Ezili Danto. Actually, you can actually work with any Loa for prosperity, right? Whether I realized I didn't put any lipstick on, I put on a little powder, but no lip stuff. It's like my face is not finished. Oh well, you're gonna get this natural beauty. Okay. At least my lips are not ashy. Or maybe they are. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. I was just looking at my lips like, why don't I have anything on my lips? I forgot the lip part. Okay. Anyways, right? Why so going back to the topic, okay? We were talking about how most people will use the loi, certain loi to amplify your money and to do prosperity work. And also if you're working with the Orisha, a lot of people will work with Aje. A lot of people will work with, actually you could work with any Orisha for money. A lot of people will work with Yemoya or Oshun for money, right? But why specifically our ancestors, right? Why our ancestors? Oshun Kemebi says first line of defense and first powerhouse for that direct bloodline connection. Absolutely. Thank you for putting that in, Oshunke maybe. Thank you, Owl. Okay. Our ancestors are our spiritual guides and they're our protectors. They are deeply invested in our well-being and our success. We talked about this in one of our lives in the past, right? Sometime last week, one of these lives, one of these podcast episodes, right? Your ancestors are the only entities, the only energies that are, and your Ori, which also use your Ori in Haitian Vodou, the concept of the Ori and the concept of your ancestors is all one. Okay. And so all is one, Oyapetu. So there is no Ori per se in Haitian Vodou. There are concepts that are similar to the concept of Ori, but usually they're mixed up within your ancestors, right? So if we're talking about your Ori, your Egungun, your ancestors, your most elevated ancestors, they are the only entities, the only energies that are specifically invested in your success. Why? Talk to me in the chat, right? I'm going to repeat that. Your ancestors and your Ori, all right? Okay, in Haitian Vodou, they're considered one, all right? They're not separated, okay? Your ancestors and your Ori are the only entities, not the Loi, not the Orisha, not the saints, not the other spiritual names for other spirits and other energies. No, your ancestors and your Ori are the only entities and the only energies that are fully invested in your specific success. Why? Talk to me in the chat, okay? While you guys are typing in the chat, okay? Just a shameless plug, all right? I am having a class on introduction to ancestral veneration in Haitian Vodou. Now, as you all know, right, there are many, many ways to venerate your ancestors, no matter what type of ATR, right, African traditional religion or African traditional spiritual system that you're using, whether you're working in Lukumi, whether you're working in Santeria, whether you're working in Haitian Vodou, whether you're working in New Orleans Vodou, whether you're working in Vodou from Benin, right? Vodun, as it is known, okay? Whether you're practicing Ifa, right? No matter what it is, no matter what the African traditional religion is, there is a prototype, there is a protocol for venerating your ancestors, okay? And so I will be having a class on that. It was originally supposed to be the 16th, which was supposed to be this Friday. However, I did have an emergency, and so I have to move it to the 29th. So that gives you plenty of time to move around your schedule. We start at 6:30 p.m. Typically, my classes are no more than 2 hours long. So although I will promise you an hour, but through conversation, through just, being there, just being in that learning environment, it may go up to about two hours. Okay. So mark your calendars, August 29th. All right, we will be covering exactly how to venerate your ancestors following Haitian Vodou traditions, okay? So let's go back to the chat here. Why is it so important to include your ancestors when doing prosperity work, okay? So as Ashunke maybe said, she talked about how your ancestors are your first line of defense. Anyone else have any reason why? Okay, so the first reason we talked about is because your ancestors and your Ori, okay, as we talked about, those two concepts are the same in Haitian Vodou, all right? It is under your Bitation, which we will be covering in class, okay? If that's confusing to you, don't worry, I'm going to break it down in class, all right? All right, they are the only entities that are solely invested in your success, okay? So that's the first reason. Oyapetu says, let me testify. Your Ori and you are one. Your Ori knows what path you choose and will work in conjunction with you to achieve alignment. Ashe, right? Okay, Oyapetu says, your ancestors are invested in you because they want the betterment of their bloodline. They want to see you win. Aibo bo, asheo. Absolutely, right? In most traditional African religions or most traditional African systems, right? African spiritual systems, our ancestors, it is believed that our ancestors actually come back, reincarnate, right, through our bloodline. And so your great grandmother may come back as your child, or as your niece or as your nephew. Type in a 1 if you're with me, okay? And so, yes, there is a concept of reincarnation in a lot of different spiritual systems. But within All Is One, Linda, Omifunde, All Is One, right? But within traditional African religions, typically all of them, most of them, right? Let me not say all of them because I don't practice all of them. So I cannot say that, right? But most of them, Lukumi, Santeria, Haitian Vodou, New Orleans Vodou, right? Ifa, right? Any type of African spiritual system believes that your ancestors reincarnate through the bloodline. So your great grandfather might now be your uncle, or your great grandfather might now be your nephew, right? And so on and so forth. And so because our ancestors are coming back, right? They're coming back through our bloodline. They want the bloodline to continue to expand. Type in a 7 if you're with me, right? It is in their best interest. All Is One. I just got someone. Oh, actually, I should put the link. Somebody just signed up for the class. You guys are loving this class, right? Every day I get a little ding. Oh, somebody signed up. Oh, somebody signed up. Good. I'm excited to have you all. Okay. Yes. So going back to what we were talking about, right? Your ancestors want to come back, right? They're going to come back. They're going to have to come back. If their mission was not done in their lifetime, they're going to have to come back, and they're coming back through your bloodline. So of course they want your bloodline to have their ish together. Type in a 7 if you're with me. They want your bloodline to heal all of those generational traumas, because they don't want to come back and have to follow those same patterns that made them have to come back in the first place. Type in a 7 if you're with me, right? Your ancestors do not want to come back as your nephew. Your ancestors do not want to come back as your cousin. Your ancestors do not want to come back as your daughter. Your ancestors do not want to come back into poverty. They've already done that. They've already played that game before. They already did the poverty thing, right? They don't want to come back to what is it? I don't want to say to evictions left and right. They don't want to come back to no cars, to no transportation. They don't want to come back to the same detrimental patterns that are keeping us from advancing. They don't want to come back to stagnation. They don't want to come back to the same sexual abuse that we experience within our families. They don't want to come back to the same negative thinking. They don't want to come back to the same bullshit. And so they want to help you to break those patterns. They want to help you to expand their experiences. Guys, we come on this earth to have an experience. What if life was one big adventure? What if this was a video game where you came in and you get to explore the entire world? You get to be a chef. You get to be an explorer. You get to be a professor. You get to be a doctor. You get to play house. You get to be a wife. You get to be a mom. You get to go on and ride on a camel in the middle of the Sahara Desert. You go and get to swim in the ocean with sharks. You get to go in the waterfall and hike up and see this beautiful waterfall. You get to dance. You get to be part of the Olympics. What if life was one big adventure where you came here to have as many experiences as your heart desires? What if that was what life was all about? And so wouldn't it make sense why your ancestors would be excited to have everything in line so that they can have the freedom to really enjoy life for what it truly meant to be? And not what we settled for the past 200, 400 years, 1,000 years? I'm preaching. Right? And so your ancestors want you to be prepared to experience this life. Your ancestors want you to be set up so that you can travel the world. Your ancestors want you to set up so that you always have a roof over your house, over your head. Your ancestors want you to be set up so that you always have a thriving career. No matter what the career is, it's always going to be thriving. Your ancestors want that for you because when they come back to earth, they they want to have the freedom to enjoy life as one big adventure instead of this disaster and all of these generational traumas and all of this poverty and all of this lack and all of this stuckness and all of this anxiety and all of this depression, right? What if your ancestors wanted to experience the other side of things? The expansion, the happiness, the joy, the freedom. What if that's what they wanted for you? And wouldn't it make sense to work with them specifically? I'm preaching. All right, let's go. All right. My kid definitely is an ancestor return. Absolutely. Yes, Red Sonic definitely is. Right. Preach, priestess. Ashe. Right. 7, definitely with you. There are some of us here preparing the way. The way, agree totally. Absolutely. Right. Yeah. Iya says the ancestors have already paved those roads with their footsteps. Aibobo. Ashe. I remember Iya said this one time. Iya said this. I will never forget this, Iya. You said, your ancestors scrubbed enough floors so that you don't have to. Your ancestors scrubbed enough toilets, wiped enough butts, breastfed babies that weren't even theirs so that you don't have to. They paved the way for you. You don't need to suffer. A lot of times we suffer. A lot of times we hold on to the people that we hold on to the suffering from other people that we love because we feel that that's how we show our love. Let me say that again. A lot of times we take on other people's suffering because that is our way of showing them that we love them. Oh, you're suffering. Let me come and suffer with you because I love you. Type in a 7 if you've ever felt that. Oh, you're suffering. Let me be in this suffering with you because I can't do nothing about your suffering. So let me suffer with you so that I can show you how much I love you. Do you see how crazy that sounds? Imagine if this tree behind me decided to just prune, right? This tree decided to just die and just be diseased or whatever, right? And just have all the leaves fall off. And it just comes and says, Cat, you're suffering. Let me suffer with you. Let me get rid of all my leaves with you. Imagine if this lake in the background just dried up and said, you know what? You're suffering, Cat. Let me dry up this lake and let me suffer with you. Do you see how ridiculous that sounds? How would that affect the rest of the world if all these trees decided to come and suffer with me? Not that I'm suffering, all right? But we're human, right? We have suffering moments. But imagine if all these trees in the background stopped everything and said, oh, Cat is suffering. Priestess Omisika is suffering. Let me drop everything and go suffer with her. How would that affect the world? If this lake decides to dry up just so that it can suffer with you, how would that affect the world? How are you affecting the world? By dragging on your ancestors' suffering. We find comfort in this suffering. Oh, my ancestors went through it, so I can go through it with as well. Oh, because my ancestors were able to put on their big boy panties and their big girl panties, and they were able to do it, so I can do it too. That's exhausting. And when does it ever end? And so the number one reason why it is to your benefit to work with your ancestors for your prosperity work is because they are the only ones that are going to be loyal to you, that are going to be invested, fully invested in your success. Well, Kat, is Azaka not invested in my success? Absolutely. Azaka is invested in your success. As long as you have the right offerings for that energy and you have the right protocols and you have the right passcodes to call onto that energy and command that energy the right way, then yes, Azaka will open up all doors for you and bring up lots of money, lots of clients, lots of promotions, lots of overtime, whatever it is, whatever that money comes, it's gonna bring it. But you got to have the right protocols. You got to have the right passwords. You got to be aligned energetically, and you got to know that you're actually summoning Azaka and not some rogue spirit that acts like Azaka. Type in a 9 if you're with me. Those of you who work with Orisha, well, Kat, can I just work with Yeye Oshun for prosperity work? Absolutely. You can work with Yeye Oshun for prosperity work. You got to know the right Oriki. You got to know the right offerings. You have to be aligned to even accept a Yeye Oshun, right? You have to treat this energy with a certain protocol, with a certain amount of respect. Or else you will summon someone that sounds like Yeye Oshun, that feels like Yeye Oshun, but is nowhere near Yeye Oshun. And you're over here thinking you're working with Yeye Oshun, and then your money's not getting any better. And if anything, your money's probably getting worse. And you're like, oh my God, why is nothing working? Because you're neglecting to work with your ancestors. You're skipping steps. You're trying to go for the big boy stuff. The big boy stuff is really your ancestors. Because guess what? You could say the wrong prayer. You could put the wrong offerings. You could do the whole thing wrong, but your ancestors are going to be like, oh, look at my baby. She's trying to connect with me. My baby girl is trying to, I know she doesn't know what she's doing, but we're going to throw in a little something because of the effort. Because we want to push you. We're going to put the right teacher in your path. You know what, baby girl? You don't know what you're doing, but let me put this person in your path that's going to show you how to get better. You know what, baby girl? You know, I don't really like that fruit cup, or I don't really like that mac and cheese. It's not really what I need, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to put a TikTok video and show you the right offerings in your path. I'm going to let somebody say the right thing that's going to spark a new thought in your mind, a new way of seeing things. And then now you're not going to put the mac and cheese in there. You're going to put some fresh fruit instead. And then eventually you see that your life gets better little by little. Your practice starts to get better little by little. You start to believe in your own power. You start to know things out of nowhere. Like, how did I know that? Because your ancestors are pushing you. Because they're invested in your success. Azaka is not invested in your success. Azaka is going to come and say, wait a minute, where's my grilled corn? I don't see no grilled corn over here, but this person over there's got grilled corn, so let me go and answer that demand. Oh, you summoned me here, but you didn't give me anything to do because you didn't ask me the right way, so nothing's going to happen. Meanwhile, grandma, great-grandpa is going to say, baby girl, this is not right, but listen, I'm going to give you a little something anyway because you tried. You guys picking up what I'm putting down? Type in a 10 if you're with me, right? It doesn't matter if you get it wrong or right. It doesn't matter. Your ancestors, imagine yourself as a parent, right? Imagine how you are with your kids. Don't you have the best patience with your kids? You see that they're trying, you give them a little nudge and you tell them, hey, do this instead, right? And you do everything to protect them. You see them, they're about to fall, and you don't scare them, but you have something in place because you know they're about to fall. They don't know they're about to fall, but you know they're about to fall. And you're just in the background, just watching, just waiting to step in. That's your ancestors. Azaka is not going to do that for you. It doesn't have to. A lot of times when I work one-on-one with my clients, they always tell me, Kat, am I doing it right? I want to make sure that I'm doing it right. Is it supposed to be on the left? Is it supposed to be facing east? Is it supposed to be facing south? Where? Which corner? Do I draw it this way? How much herbs do I put in there? When do I light it? Do I light it at 8 p.m.? So I know that a lot of you who are watching, you're brand new to this, right? Or you're brand new to this and you're thinking, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? What if I told you that it doesn't matter? What if I told you as long as you're working with your ancestors, they will show you the way? Please don't go on the internet and say, Kat said I can do whatever I want and I don't have to follow spiritual laws. She said it doesn't matter. That's not what I said. What I said was when you're working with your ancestors, it's the effort that counts. Your ancestors will push you. Your ancestors will put the right teachers in place. Your ancestors will give you the answers that you're looking for because they are invested in your success. You guys with me? Type in an 11 if you're with me, okay? So now let's talk about, right? Now we understand why it's important. I think you guys got that, right? We went in on that one, right? Now we understand why it's important to work with your ancestors in your prosperity work. Now we're going to talk about how to do it, right? Okay, Kat, I get it. My ancestors want me to win. All right, so I'm ready for this. Now, how do I do this? Now, hold on. Ia says, the devil is in the details. The power, the prestige, and protection is the blood and the bones of the ancestors. Ay, bobo, ashe, ashe. That's my godmother. That's my godmother. Ashe, Ia. Thank you so much for that. Beautiful, beautiful. I got an 11. Oyapetu says 11. Okay. So the upcoming class, all right, introduction to ancestral veneration in Haitian Vodou. Again, those of you who are just joining us, who are not here earlier, okay? In every African spiritual system, there is a proper way to venerate your ancestors. There is a way to do it in Ifa. There is a way to do it in Lukumi. There's a way to do it in Candomblé. There's a way to do it in Santeria. There's a way to do it in Haitian Vodou. There's a way to do it in New Orleans Vodou. There's a way to do it in Benin Vodou, right? And so each and every branch, and there's so many, many, many different branches, there are prototypes, there are protocols that you must follow, right, to be able to properly venerate your ancestors. And why am I venerating my ancestors? I'm venerating my ancestors so that they can help me, right, expand this lifetime, expand opportunities, receive protection, receive that promotion, get more clients, have success in my business, put the right relationships in my path, give me health, give me knowledge, give me wisdom, so that I can have the best experience here on earth, because we came on this earth to have an experience. What if life was one big adventure? Okay. And so how do we do this? Well, one of the ways that we're going to talk about in the class is your ancestor altar. Type in a 1 in the chat if you have an ancestor altar. Okay. And if you do, tell me, what do you have on your ancestor altar? Okay. The first way is an ancestor altar. Now, what is an altar? An altar can be many, many, many things. An altar doesn't need to be this big, beautiful table, and it needs to be this color and this extravagant, although that could be the place. An altar is essentially a designated space where you use to honor and connect with your ancestors. That's all it is, right? An altar is a designated space that you can use to honor and connect with your ancestors. This could be inside of your closet. This could be on a beautiful table. This could be in a whole room, right? In Haitian Vodou, it is actually very customary to have an entire room dedicated to your ancestors, or even to a specific loi. Some houses will have an entire guest room where there's a whole guest house, and it is a house strictly for spirituality. This is where they have tables and different decorations for the different loi, and even your ancestors. And so as long as it's a designated space where you're using this space to honor and to connect with your ancestors, that is an altar, okay? T. Ellen says, I have the 4 elements. I have, yes, absolutely. I have offerings, divination tools to charge. Absolutely, okay? Oshun Kemebi says, yes, she has an ancestor altar. She has fruits, tools, a Bible. Hello, right? I have my Creole Bible on my ancestor altar, right? That Creole Bible. Woo! I've done some things with that Creole Bible, okay? Yes, OT. You always got to have some sort of alcohol, right? Oil lamps, because we working at the moment. Absolutely. A lot of you guys may even have an eternal flame on your ancestor altar, right? Those of you who did your ancestral readings, right? You may have an eternal flame. I have to have an eternal flame. I need to have a light on my ancestor altar at all times. Kat, what about when you travel? Guess what? My altar travels with me, okay? There are ways to honor your ancestors even when you're traveling. We're going to be talking about that in the class, okay? Actually, I should probably put the link here. Let me put it on Facebook. Put the link in the chat for you guys to sign up for the class. I'm so excited. Okay, I put it on the Facebook one. I have to get it here on the StreamYard. It'll get done, okay, at some point. I'll put it on the YouTube video. Okay, beautiful. Oyapetu said she has food, candles, charging spiritual bath. Ooh, yes, you can use your ancestors. Again, remember, your altar is a way for you to connect with your ancestors. Yes, you can charge spiritual items, spiritual baths on your ancestor altar. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, the second way you can do this, working with your ancestors, all right, is to have ancestral meditations. Type in a 2 if you ever meditate with your ancestors. Okay, type in a 2 in the chat if you've ever meditated with your ancestors. Kat, how do I meditate with my ancestors? Well, sign up for the class, and we're gonna get a lot deeper into it. But without going without the class, because the class is on the 29th, right? We got a lot of time until the class. One of the easiest ways to do so is through music. Right? Play some gospel music. Play some music that reminds you of your ancestors. Play some music that helps you feel like you're connected with your ancestors. Maybe it has nothing to do with what your ancestors were listening to. Right? For example, you might play a Beyonce song. I know Oyape too talks about Cowboy Carter a lot, right? Yes, I'm sure your ancestors have never listened to Beyonce, but the fact that you're listening and you're connecting to the words, and that is allowing you to connect with your ancestors, that's good as well, right? So play some music, play some gospel music, and just sit in the music and really listen. That is a way of meditation with your ancestors, believe it or not, okay? Beautiful, beautiful, all right? The third way, and the last way you could do this, and of course there's other ways, we're going to talk about it in the class, is through offerings, okay? Through ancestral offerings, specifically for prosperity. Talk to me in the chat. What are some offerings? What are some offerings that you can specifically give to your ancestors to open the doors for prosperity? Talk to me in the chat. What are some offerings that you can put out for your ancestors, okay? What are some offerings that you could put for your ancestors specifically for prosperity? Talk to me in the chat. I'll start with one. One of my favorite offerings for prosperity for my ancestors is papaya. Okay? Papaya. Yes. It is a tropical fruit. So all of you, I know Omi Funde, you're from the Caribbean, my Jamaican sister, right? Anybody else from the Caribbean, from Trinidad, from St. Lucia, from Cuba, from Puerto Rico, from Haiti, right? Anyone of the Caribbean or even Latin America, papaya is a huge, huge, huge offering in any African traditional religion. Why? What is special about papaya? Well, I'll talk to you about it in the class, but I'll give you a hint. Think of all the seeds that are inside of a papaya. Think of the medical properties of papaya, right? Think of the properties of the skin of papaya. Think of the properties of the leaves of a papaya tree, right? And add that to your prosperity, okay? So I'll give you a little bit of homework, a little bit of thinking why papaya is so, so, so important in prosperity work within African traditional spiritual systems, especially in the Caribbean, okay? All right, guys, so that's pretty much it, all right? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ia. You put it on the, see, now that's for me to remember. I need to be prepared next time, right? Okay, so I'm so excited about this class, right? So literally every day, you're going to see me post about it every day, all right? Until August 29th, you're going to see it every single day, all right? Don't mind me, and you're going to learn something, all right? And you're going to enjoy the process. I'm super, super excited to share my knowledge, to share my experience, right? Because I teach from experience. The things that I teach are things that I have done for myself and I've done for my clients. And because I've done it for my clients over and over and over, that's what gave me the confidence to realize, oh, wow, everyone needs to know this because this is guaranteed results, right? I can say that with total confidence. Everything that we're going to go over, you do it, you follow everything that we're going to go over, you're going to see results. If you don't see results, it's because you're not looking. Actually, I don't even want to say if you don't see results, because that's not even a reality, right? But what am I trying to say? Like, is if you don't see what you're looking for, it's because you didn't do something, right? Or because you didn't really follow it, or because you really don't want the results. A lot of times people sabotage their results because they're not really ready to see results. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much it. All right. Let's go in the comments here. Okay. I have an ancestors and chill playlist. Me too. Oh, Boma. I know who you are. Every time I see Boma, I'm like, who is this? All is one egg, babe. Yes. Ancestors and chill playlist. All right. Put the link here. Beautiful. Mint, cinnamon, and pineapple. Yes. These are offerings for prosperity, right? Cotton, corn, and melon. Ooh, the cotton. Yes. For the cotton. Whoo. Yes. Yes. Thank you for that one, Ajay. I'm thinking of a master plan. All right. Yeah, cotton. Ooh, I could do some things with cotton. So many. I love that, by the way. Cotton was a cash crop, right? Cotton was what brought a lot of the plantations a lot of prosperity. Okay. And cotton is also, ooh, man. Ooh. Let's have some fun with that one in class. Let's leave that one for class. We're gonna have some fun with cotton. There's so many ways we could go with cotton. Absolutely. I love that. All right. Thank you for this class. Absolutely, T. Ellen. Priestess, we can have the link again for the class. Yes, absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. Here it is. Somebody put it right here. Here's the link here. Sorry. I can't, for some reason, it's not allowing me to like copy and paste, but here's the link. Okay. And if you're watching on Facebook, just go ahead and click the link on Facebook. Okay. Thank you. Your classes are always so insightful. Ancestors love them. Absolutely. Mrs. Callie says white cloth. Ooh, yes, the white cloth. That is actually very, very strategic. Absolutely. Because here's the thing. If you have the wrong colors on your ancestor altar, you might attract some rogue spirits that you're not really trying to work with. Okay. And so the white cloth allows you to attract benevolent spirits only. Beautiful. I love that. Salt water, tobacco. Yes, we're going to talk about all of that. Fruits and candles and pictures. Absolutely. Kat, what if I don't have pictures of my ancestors? We're going to talk about that in the class. Incense. Yes. Yes, priestess. And rum Jamaican. Yes. The Jamaican rum, the overproof rum. Yes. Coffee. Yes. Bible. Yes. Rum and whiskey. Absolutely. Rum is right up there with the cotton, right? The sugar cane. The tobacco, cotton, and sugarcane were all three cash crops, right? Even peanuts, right? Peanuts, absolutely. Corn, yes. You or Ia gave me the cotton gem. Yes, it definitely was Ia. Absolutely. All right. Gin water, flowers, plums, honeydew, my bones. Yes, for the bones. Yes. Seashells, money bone set, eternal flame, Aibo bull. The Harris carat gold you can find. Woo! Now that's what I'm talking about. Ia is in the building, all right? Dropping gems. You know, someone was like, "Is Ia your godmother? You're so lucky." Yeah, I think we take you for granted sometimes, right? But you be coming in and just dropping boosh. I love that. Ashe. Ashe. If you don't have any Jamaican rum, might as well pack up and go home. Here's the thing about the Jamaican rum. Y'all want to know about the Jamaican rum, or should I leave it for the class? What's so special about that Jamaican rum, right? There's something special about it. I don't know if I should leave it for class. I'll leave it for class. Actually, let's see. Let me know if in the comments, type in a 7 if you want me to tell you the secret behind the Jamaican rum, or if you guys, those of you who signed up for the class, if you want me to leave it for the class. Type in a 7 if you want me to say it here. Type in a 0 if you want me to say it in class. Talk to me. Okay, let's see. I'm actually was about to get off, but I want to have a conversation about this rum. Let's see. There's something specific about the rum. T. Ellen says it, say it now. Let's see. Anybody else? All right. Trinise says say it now. Okay. Oshuntara says say it now. Okay. So here's the thing, right? So the Jamaican rum, right, is an overproof rum, right? Most of the rum that we have now, the rum that we drink, like the drinkable rum, is distilled, it's filtered, it's been through a lot of different processes, right? But when you have overproof rum, it's literally the same thing as moonshine. Type in a 5 if you're with me, right? It's the same thing as moonshine. So think about it. How is moonshine made? Moonshine is made from necessity, right? You guys ever heard of like the prison moonshine where people use fruits and they create moonshine in prison or whatever the case is, right? And so moonshine is usually created from necessity, right? Using what you have. And so because when our ancestors were doing their rituals to connect with their ancestors, they didn't have the facilities to filter the rum, to filter the sugar cane, to go through that whole intricate process to create that fine, smooth rum that most people enjoy and drink. And so they had to make their rum in secret. And so it would be super duper duper potent, meaning that it doesn't go through any of that filtering. It is pure, raw, and wild rum, right? And so you get all of the benefits of that sugarcane, that transformation that the sugarcane goes through to become the spirit of rum that we know. Okay, so that's as far as I'm going to take it. We're going to go a lot deeper, but the key is if you cannot get the Jamaican rum, just get some overproof rum or even moonshine. All right, and that's my little secret about the Jamaican rum for now. Okay, we'll go a lot deeper in the class. Go ahead and sign up for the class. Those of you on Facebook, the link is there, and scroll up in the comments and it is there. All right, guys, have a great night. I'll see you next Monday. Sorry, I was a little late. I usually come on at 1, but I had some technical difficulties. You guys know every Monday around 1, I will be here, okay? If I'm a little late, just know there's something going on. Just hang on and I will be there. Last Monday, I was not on because it was my birthday, but I will be on every Monday as long as it's not a holiday, as long as it's not my birthday, okay? All right, guys, have a good night. Bye.